Alright, so first off, you're probably going to notice that the quality for this is very different. I got a new phone. Mine took a shit on me the moment I got a new fridge. I dropped $237 on it. And after getting home, I had to run back out into town because my phone wouldn't start up. I had to factory reset it in order to set this one up. Um, it was just a long pain in the ass day, but that was just a couple of days ago. I'm going to find time to upload this. It's probably going to be tomorrow during a busy day at work. It's been a while since my last upload, and it's been even longer since my last movie review. I've been busy. I've been very busy. I'm up to episode 30 of Evil Within. I've only been able to upload 4 parts. My car took a shit. Just all sorts of bad things. So I've been rolling with the punches. Now, before I do my intro, my who's good, I want to go ahead and let you know that I got some nitpicky things to say about this movie. You know what is from the tile down below. I got some nitpicky things, and I also have my fair portion of this review. So let's just go ahead and get the first part of business out of the way, and then we'll get to the nitpicky things, and then we will give this movie a fair shot. Fridge. Who's good, potatoes? Spin the leak here with a Jigsaw review. I'm going to start off with the nitpicky shit. I'm going to get that out of the way, and then I'm going to get right into the nitty-gritty. I'm not a fan of this. Motherfucker, are you enjoying that toy? He's got a new toy. Let me see if I can, Woo! I don't know how well you saw that. I'm getting used to this phone. It's more sizable than my previous one. Now I can actually show you the fucked up phone I've been working with up until now. You know, this camera picks up light pretty well. I'm enjoying this. You can see all my boxes for figures. I don't know how well you can see the damage on this. I'm going to take this into the other room. And I'm very cautious when it comes to power. After that massive bill a while back. Okay. You see that shit? That is straight up the ribbon behind the screen. This thing is completely coated. Yeah, you can see it right there. I've been recording with this. I've been uploading 3 or 4 times a day with this whenever I first started moving out here. You know what I think about it now? Nothing. I'll keep that because there's still some useful files on it. Anyway, I'm going to say this one was overly cartoony. There were, from what I saw, little to no real main crew members remaining from the original Saw movies. This was a different director, different director, different special effects guy. They relied very heavily on CG, which, if you're familiar with the previous Saw films, they did not do that. Most of the traps worked. They used mostly prosthetics and props. They would construct the actual trap as best as they could, make sure that it works within the confines that is safe to use, and roll with that. Many of these, if they could not physically work in reality, could work in theory. This one threw that pretty much out of the way. A prime example would be 2 people are stuck in a room with a shotgun. Keys are hidden inside of the shotgun shell. A person has to choose what to do with it. This person fires it, and it backfires, blows their face off. Now, what I'm going to say here is there is no way it should have popped out the back like that. First of all, it's impossible to put a shotgun shell in backwards. The little metal lip at the back makes it sit in the hole the way it needs to. Second of all, where the firing pin connects determines the explosion. It hits pretty much on the back. If it hits on the front, it's not going to suddenly fly back at you, and it's really going to move with the force. It'll have to blow off the metal top. If the barrel was jammed or welded shut, it would fire into that piece, and the rest of the front would blow off. There is really no reason it should have blown out the back like that. That's a prime example. Some of these things, you couldn't see the motors behind them. A lot of the style was really off. The thing about Saw movies is the attention to detail. Once you reach the conclusion of the film, and pretty much every mystery has been unraveled, they will go back and show you a lot of minor details that you missed. You can go back and watch these. You can literally rewind and see it happening. Let's say a character in a game was actually controlling the game. they would show the aspects of controlling it. Whereas this film, you don't see it, but you have to just kind of take, for example, blah 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 blah. There are a lot of missed details. I I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go against the team that did this. They made the Saw movie as you would make pretty much any movie. They didn't have the dedication and the real ability to make it the way that the original team did. But nevertheless, they tackled it in their way. They made an entertaining film, just not a Saw movie. So, with most of that garbage out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and get to the fair part. Just, Sometimes whenever I pause this, I take a second, think about what I'm going to say, maybe have a smoke, maybe have a sip of something. This is me doing that. This is me lubing up for the dick I'm about to shove in my mouth, and I'm going to have a different drink whenever I'm finished, doing that. Alright, so Jigsaw takes place 10 years after John Kramer's death. Suddenly, it appears that a new game started, bodies start turning up. It's a mess. Now, the two things really threw me off about this. I know I said I was done with the nitpicky stuff. John never put his bodies on display. But this motherfucker hung him from a bridge, dropped him off the top of a hospital, hung him in a closet to drop down and do that little jump scare. What the fuck ever. Another thing John never did was actually slit someone's fucking throat just to prove a point. I mean, this guy is obviously a fucking murderer. Anyway, while the game's being played, a whole bunch of gory, whiny details. Honestly, the reactions in this were mostly whiny and panicky. They typically are in Saw films. But this one was almost childish. It was one of those situations of, let me go ahead and put in an act for you. If you don't do this thing, put this finger in your mouth, you die. I can't put the finger in my mouth! No! Meanwhile, there's a chain dragging everyone up to a ceiling to hang them. Just put the goddamn finger in your mouth! The traps were very simplistic, and one of the biggest issues with the props is, as opposed to looking intimidating, you could tell they were props. The barbed wire wrapped around most of the pillars inside of the barn where the main game takes place, you could tell were fucking plastic. If not, they were very poorly made. You guys should really check into that. It looked fake as hell. You guys want to see a different product. But yeah, no. A lot of the props, you can tell they were props. The traps were very poorly made. It was as simple as picking the right syringe. A number that only you would know. It is the antidote to a poison coursing through your system. You're going to put that motherfucker in instead of sitting there going, ah! I mean, come on. It's that simple. You don't follow the rules. Your leg falls through a fucking hole onto a pressure pad. Next thing you know, there's wires wrapped around it. How do you free yourself? You pull a fucking lever. There you go. You are being dropped into a pit with rotating blades. Directly beneath you is a brake line that will stop it and let you escape. I'm doing that because I'm technically upside down. You know what? Let me make this upside down. I'm upside down now. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, they proved that they were capable during the first segment of the trap. In order to free yourself from a binding and stop a wall of rotating saw blades, all you had to do was cut yourself a little bit. Everyone did that. Everyone was cool with that. So why the fuck couldn't they do the rest of this shit when it was so simple? I mean, granted, they weren't the calmest. I'm getting a little off topic. But yeah, no, I feel that this one was... It was whinier. It was less engulfing. It didn't really capture the attention of viewers as much as the other one. Granted, there was a lot of great advertising, and this was a fun film. This really doesn't... It doesn't do it for me. Like, thinking about this review, I've had almost nothing positive to say. Um, no, I'm just gonna call it here. I'm gonna give it 2.5 potatoes. This one does have rewatchability. I did just watch it a second time. Um, Granted, I watched 2 seasons of The Walking Dead in between, which I am thinking of doing series reviews on that because there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, especially once you start going behind the scenes. This one, I don't feel that they did the original Saw franchise justice. There's always that one extra little bit. You know what I mean? There's always that one movie that's that extra taste that you could have. You don't need it because the final portion is already out. But you can go for it. You can reach out. You can grab that tempting little lure and see if you like it, see if you don't. This is what that is. This is Final Destination 5. The Final Destination came out before Final Destination 5. Final Destination 5, all it really did was loop around to the very first movie. That was an interesting twist for that franchise. This didn't really have much of a twist. This just slammed a bunch of stuff together. This is that extra little bit that you can reach out for, take, or leave. It's not part of it. It's barely even canon. Jigsaw doesn't even really talk the same. He doesn't use the same methodical riddles when he speaks. Instead, this is very blatant. It's very in your face. Granted, because of the time frame they give you, that is understandable. But at the same time, there's a lot of religious overtones in the ways they speak. And John Kramer has never been a very religious man. This one's going to walk away with 2.5. I do recommend watching it at least once. If you are a fan of the franchise, you can get outraged. You can be happy with it. If you are not familiar with the franchise, you will enjoy this more than I did. Go ahead and post in the comments down below if you've seen this film, if you are planning on watching it, what were your feelings on this film? Go ahead and throw that my way. Like, comment, subscribe, keep on keeping on, and I'm gonna do something else. I might just watch Resident Evil, fuck it. I'm not gonna be uploading this for another 12 hours anyway. So yeah, keep on keeping on.